Alright, man, so I just saw Bone Lake, brother, and I need to talk about it, alright? I need to talk about it because that's what we do. We talk about movies, and we talk about whether or not I agree or disagree with the critics' reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's go ahead and hop right in and figure that out. Alright, so you already know how this goes. I'm going to talk about the movie first, and then I'm going to tell you what my rating is, and then we're going to pull up and see if I agree with the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So, I just saw Bone Lake, okay? And I kind of went in blind on this movie. I seen a couple of trailers for it because I'm always in the theater, so I end up seeing it. But like, other than that, I mean, no one was really talking about this movie very much, and it was just kind of like a thing. I was like, yo, it's a horror movie, and it just looks like the shots are pretty, and there were some cool shots in the trailer, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and see it. Why not, right? So I went ahead and I went to go see it. Now, Bone Lake, the premise of this movie is pretty much like there's a couple that's going on vacation, and they pull up to a house, and it's this really big mansion looking thing, and they're like, yo, oh, this is a nice place, man, we gonna stay here. And then another couple end up showing there, and they're like, hey, yo, why are we both here? How do we manage to book the same place? This shouldn't be possible. And they decide ultimately, all right, you know what? We're gonna stay here together. We're just gonna figure it out. We're gonna stay here together and see if we can vibe. If we don't, somebody's gonna have to play rock. Y'all gonna play rock, paper, scissors, and we gonna decide who has to leave. All right. So that's what they do, and they decide to stay, and they end up kind of enjoying each other's company. But everything isn't all as it seems. Now, the reason this place is called Bone Lake is because apparently there are a bunch of bodies in the lake that they live on. You know, there's like a lake that they live near at this house. There's a house right there, and there's a lake. That's kind of ends up being an important piece. And I should say this. I'm gonna say this now before I get too deeply into this little review here. Spoilers are incoming for sure. Okay, that's what we do. We spoil the movie. I'm sorry. That's how we do these reviews. You know. So anyway, basically we learn very quickly that this other couple that came here after is kind of insane, and they keep doing really suspect things. Like they're almost like manipulating the other couple like separately. Each partner, they're manipulating them to believe that they're trying to cheat on each other. Basically, it's like they're trying to determine what their trust is, and it's like weird because it's weird and frustrating because you're sitting there and you're watching like, ayo, I know damn well that didn't happen. Why are you saying this is what happened? Like, for example, the woman in the other couple, she literally sits there and tries to lead on the main character. Well, one of the main characters, obviously. And it's like she's in her room and he's like, hey, yo, can you help me find my contacts? I can't find them. But she's in her towel and he's like super uncomfortable because that's not his girl. He don't want to do that. But he's like, he's a super nice dude. So he's going to go and help out. So he goes in there and tries to find the contacts, and she's sitting there trying to seduce him the whole time. And he doesn't fall. He doesn't break, but he's struggling, bro. He is struggling, but he does not break. And he felt so uncomfortable. He did not want to be in there, but he just wanted to be a nice guy. He wanted to help. So when she goes up to his girl, he's like, yo, I just want to let you know nothing really happened, but you know, your boy saw me naked basically, and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, and you're sitting here like, why are we leaving out important details? What is going on here? But they don't establish what's wrong with this couple yet. You're just like, bro, why is she doing this? Like, why? Like, she's so weird, and they're weird the whole time. But this was particularly weird. You're like, why are you doing this? Like, just explain what you were doing and why it was like this. Why are you making him look like a suspect? Like, what's going on here? And then the man is also a douchebag to him because the main character is like, basically, I want to propose during this thing. He's like, I want to propose to my girl, and he tells the new guy, he's like, I want to propose. Oh, I'm gonna show you. He showed the ring. He's like, this is my grandmother's ring. It's very important that I keep this ring and use this ring, okay? Because it's very special, and I want this moment to be important, and I'm gonna propose at sunset, blah, blah, blah. Or, well, it was the other dudes I did a propose at sunset. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do that. So, this dude, this freaking a-hole, bro, he steals the ring and proposes to his girl at the dinner table when they're all there. And he's like, this is my grandmother's ring. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting there. The amount of frustration I felt during this scene, I was like, there's no fucking way. I actually was sitting like this, looking at the screen. I could not believe it. And that happens a lot during this movie. Things like that'll happen, and it'll be like a twist and turn you wasn't expecting, and it's like, what the fuck? And that one's the biggest one. So if you continue watching when I warned you about spoilers, I'm sorry, because that scene, when you see it happen, it is the most insane thing in the world. Your frustration goes so high, it's not even funny, bro. Like that moment right there is like, yo, I cannot mess with these people. And later on, you know, like that whole movie, they're basically, like I said, they're getting in our main couple's heads, making them not trust each other as much, but like it's like basically testing them. And then they separate one another. Like the boy of the one relationship goes with the girl, the main girl, and then the man of the other relationship, the main relationship it stays home with the girl in the new relationship, okay? And they both try to seduce them into having sex, and it's kind of crazy. They both manage to fight the urge, but it's kind of wild that they sit there and do that. And we learn at the end of the movie that apparently these two, first of all, craziest plot twist ever, that these two people that are in this relationship are fucking siblings. They're brother and sister, and it's like, excuse me? That was crazy enough, okay? That was crazy enough. But we also learned that these two are twisted, and they just do this to people all the time to see how much they really can trust each other. Like, they're this twisted that they intentionally mess with relationships like this to see true love. And if they don't truly bond, they can't go home. They go to the Bone Lake. They end up in there. They die and get buried in the bottom of the ocean, okay? And apparently they've never had anybody succeed. But these two, they have an undying love and an undying trust, bro. They literally managed to trust each other all the way through. So these guys are like, you know what, fuck it. We're just gonna kill him anyway. So they decide that they're gonna completely kill them. And this is where the movie goes completely off the rails, okay? It felt so clever and the pacing was so nice and interesting. There's so many cool little twists and turns. And then the rest of the movie just becomes like a basic slasher. And it's like, for me personally, the movie drops couple points here because it becomes like I said, it's just a basic slasher. It's just all the creativity and the nuance that happened in the beginning, it's kind of just gone out the window. It's not like bad, but it feels like a totally different movie once you get to this point. Like it's not a long part, but it's a decent enough time where you're like, what happened to the cool little creative stuff we were doing? Why are we suddenly just going into Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees territory with these guys? Like, what is going on? And at that, they're just dumb. So like things happen that are so stupid between the main villains of the movie that it's like you like, how did you manage to get in this situation and lose? Like it's weird. But in the end, our main characters end up winning. They kill the other two and they, you know, drive off into the sunset. Well, they don't drive off. They end up on a boat and they laugh at it. They laugh hysterically on this boat with blood all over their faces. You know, they manage to get out and that's it. The movie ends. It's not a bad ending. It's just, you know, it felt like there would be, I can't tell you what it would have been that they should have did, but the whole arc of them just having to fight their way out against these two crazy people that turned into serial killers, just, I don't know, it just didn't feel right based off of how the movie was going, you know? There are really cool shots in this movie too, like I said. Like, there's like cool little spinning shots where like the camera's attached to whatever doorknob they're turning or the lock that they're breaking and stuff. There's like, and the cinematography, like in terms of color grading and lighting, is really nice as well. Like, I think this is a really pretty movie and it's a very well executed movie, at least for the most part for me. And I really enjoyed my time with this movie. I was genuinely surprised. I watched this movie right after I had seen Smashing Machines, so it was like, I don't know, I felt like a W day, you know? I was like, bro, this was actually super entertaining to watch. I was very surprised. Now, like I said, the ending of the movie became super chaotic and a bloodbath, and it felt very, very wrong for the movie. Not poorly executed for what it was, but it didn't feel like it fit the movie that I was already watching, you know? So my personal rating for this movie, I feel like it's either, I'll say a 7 or an 8. I think I could comfortably say an 8 though, because I really had a lot of fun with this movie up until the last act, really. I mean, I did not have fun with the last act, but it felt strange. So we're gonna look up the Rotten Tomatoes rating on this movie and see if I agree with the critics of this movie and if there's an audience score at all. The movie's not that big, so I don't know if there's an audience score, but we're gonna check. So, okay, so it's got an 82% by critics and 59% by audiences. Honestly, that's surprising to me. I didn't think it was nearly that. We can be very clear. I do not agree with the audience score. Not at all. The 59% seems incredibly low to me. I really like this movie. I had fun with it. I mean, I feel like while I had a lot of fun, it isn't pushing the genre too crazily, but it had some, like, and the acting also isn't super crazy. It's good, like, for what it was, but it's not anything impressive, like super impressive anyway. So I could kind of see why the rating's like low. I feel like this is like one of those movies that's like it's like an acquired taste. I feel like I can't complain about the audience rating. Like, it's not wrong per se. Like, I could see where you could get that from. And the critic score is 82. Now, Do I agree with that? I'm gonna honestly say no, just because I think this movie's more of a 7 than an 8 for me. Like, I feel like it'd be a 7. Like, if I had to give it a real, like, percentage, it'd be like a 73 or something like that. Like, I don't know. An 82 is a little high for me. I think that's like a really high score for this movie for the way that it's executed and the way that some of this stuff is done. I don't want to say poorly, but not correctly for the movie that we were watching, because the twists and turns really cool for this movie. Like, when they make you mad about things in this movie, they make you mad, man. They really piss you off. But like the way it ends and the way it starts, honestly, the start is a little cliche. I was thinking like, oh, this movie's probably gonna suck, dang, and then it kind of picks up, and then the ending is like a mess. So, you know, I honestly would say like 7 out of 10. So I don't agree with the critics or the audience here. I'm kind of like right in the middle. Do I agree with the critics? No, I don't. I do not agree with the critics on this one. I am not super far off, I suppose, technically, but I do not agree with the critics on this one. If y'all like this video, please leave me a like at the bottom. If you haven't subscribed, you know exactly what to do. Oh my God, I did my fast version of that intro this time, or that outro. Dang, I only do that on my gaming channel. Yeah, guys, I have a gaming channel. You should check that out anyway. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, homies.